I'm so glad to have y'all on with me this morning, and I count it a great joy. All right, listen. Yesterday we had an amazing conversation. A lot of people hit me up off record, amen. And we talked, and I said today I'll deal with fear, and I kind of want to deal with this one a little bit. And I believe that it's going to help us in a great way on this morning. Dr. Michael Oliver, good morning to you, sir. I believe that I'm going to kind of hit a couple of points that's really going to hit home with some of you because I believe that fear is a part of the human condition. All right, it's part of the human condition. This goes all the way back to Adam and Eve. So we tend to think that successful people somehow are exempt from experiencing fear. I thought I had I don't have it up here, do I? I don't have it. I will show y'all my office, but y'all are not going to talk about me. Y'all not going to talk about me this morning. So I'm gonna be cool, okay? I had to get my notes because I wrote some down. We tend to think that successful people somehow are exempt from experiencing life, actually, but nothing can be further from the truth. Every generation in human history has experienced some fear. And as I said, it goes all the way back to Adam and Eve. After they actually disobeyed God and he called them, I remember Adam, he answered, I heard your voice in the garden and I was afraid because I was naked and I hid myself. It is actually a part of human nature. That's fear. And I'm going to trace back through human history where you can find fear. Michael McGonaghy, he said, the thing that I fear most is fear itself. Sir Francis Bacon in 1623 actually is noted for recording that nothing is terrible except fear itself. And in 1831, Duke of Wellington said the only thing that I am afraid of is fear. And I want to tell you right now that that there are people today that are very fearful. 3% of all of Americans experience panic. 3% deal with generalized anxiety. 2.5% deal with phobias. Whether it's a situation, creature, object, experience, or activity. 1.5% have social phobias. They dread situation or interaction with people. That means one of every 6 people, yes, one of every 6 people have serious issues with fear. I remember going to school. A psychiatrist once said that the only 2 real instinctive fears in men and women are loud noises and the fear of actually falling. And hear me, I have a great fear of making a loud noise while falling. That's what the psychiatrist said. And when you look at it, most people's fears, I'm going to give you a startling statistic real quick, that the most people fear are really more ordinary, okay? I'm going to give you at least about 6 of them, okay? 28% has to deal with your finances. 20% has to deal with your health. 16% has to deal with your career goals. 10% has to deal with your parenting struggles. 7% of your family relationships. And 7% of personal goals. Your greatest fears may not be included in this list, but I'm certain that it's going to have some distinction in it. So I want to talk about the destructive effects of fear. Okay, fear can be very destructive force in a person's life, and the root of the word fear comes from the old English word that has to deal with afar, which literally means a sudden attack or a kin, or actually a kin of an ambush or a snare. The destructive power of fear, if left unchecked, can be devastating. Here are some things I really want to deal with, and when I wrote this down, it really helped me in such a way understand some stuff myself. Number 1, fear breeds more fear. Can you write that down, please? Fear breeds more fear. Did you know that you are literally likely to die choking on a piece of food before you would die in the actual airplane? Afraid of dying in a robbery? Have you ever dreamed about seeing yourself being killed? Some people have even dreamed about seeing themselves die on surgery tables. You are 16 times more likely to die in a car crash than you are to die from complications of surgery. Okay. Seldom, watch this here, seldom does we fear things of the past. In our minds, we actually project, coming from disasters that will likely never occur. And when you don't think that it will come to pass, we'll say, oh man, that was a close one. But the reality is it happens within our own thoughts, and the only thing creating potential danger for us. So fear breeds more fear. Number 2, fear causes inaction. Fear causes inaction. A census taker was going far into the rural area to finish the work of the territory, and something began to happen in it. And I want to give you my illustration today that I believe that will help you and cause you into a great place of awareness. Okay. First, you have. I'll start here. The first thing you have is fear. Okay. You have fear. You go right here. Right here, you will have what I call lack of experience. Okay? Lack of experience. You go from fear, you go to lack of experience. And then if you're not careful, it's something that some of us have walked in ignorance. Okay? And it perpetuates itself in this actual circle. Fear makes us afraid of doing something which actually might be beneficial to us. Taking action will require us to move into the unknown. Are y'all listening to me? That can be scary, but if we do not give in to our fear, we do not actually move forward. Okay? I'm trying to help y'all. All right. So, and a lot of times, watch this here, we do not receive the benefit that we have avoided, but we do not gain the valuable experience that will make us better informed. So as a result, we remain ignorant to the area of life. Ignorant, it breeds more fear, and because of that, it's harder for us to get things actually done. So we cannot allow fear to paralyze us. Okay, there are risks and costs to the projection or the program of action, but we are far less, hear me, long-range risk and cost comfortable from an inaction. So if we're too afraid to deal with the area of failure, hear me, we'll probably never win. Okay? If we are afraid to die, we're going to always live hardly. So we'll never get to a certain place because we die from the degree of risk. This is going to make sense to you in about 3 minutes. Fear weakens us. Fear weakens us. That's number 3. The worst danger we face is the danger of being paralyzed by our own doubts and fears. Let me give that to you again. The worst danger that we face is the danger of being paralyzed by doubt and risk. This danger is actually brought onto us because we are abandoning our faith and we are snared in our own hope. So I want to show you something about fear versus faith. All right, fear versus faith. In fear, it weakens, it imprisons, it paralyzes, it sickens, and it disheartens us. Let me give that to you again. With fear, it weakens, it imprisons, it paralyzes, it disheartens, and it sickens. Let me give it to you one more time. With fear, it weakens, it imprisons, it paralyzes, it disheartens, and it sickens us. Okay? Now, but when you deal with faith, hear me very carefully. When you deal with faith, faith strengthens, it liberates, it empowers, it encourages, and it heals. Can I give it to you one more time, please? Faith, it strengthens, it liberates us, it empowers us, it encourages us, and it heals us. So you have to see the difference between the two. In fear, it weakens, it imprisons, it paralyzes, it disheartens, and it sickens. But in faith, it strengthens, it liberates, it empowers, it encourages, and it heals. And I'm telling you now, our anxiety does not empty tomorrow of its sorrows, but it empties today of our strengths. You got to be careful because a person cannot allow fear to actually master them and become the master of their strengths at the same time. It don't happen that way. And a lot of people right now, they have their fear and it actually weakens you instead of strengthening you. All right. So if you're still with me, I started telling you about the destructive effects of fear, and I said number one, that fear breeds more fear. I said number two, fear causes inactions. Number three, I told you that fear weakens us. Here's number four, fear wastes time. Fear wastes time. All right. And let me get that to you again. Fear. And here you go, Lady Antoinette. Fear. It weakens, it imprisons, it disheartens, it paralyzes, and it sickens. All right. Make sure you got that down. I want you to make sure you got that down. It weakens, it imprisons, it disheartens, it paralyzes, and it sickens. But your faith, it ought to strengthen, it ought to liberate, it ought to heal, it ought to empower, and it ought to encourage you. Okay. Y'all got that. All right. Good. All right. So watch this here. Fear brings the wolf bigger than he is. Okay, y'all got that? Fear brings the wolf bigger than what it actually is. Sometimes you got to know how to avoid some stuff, and we wasting a whole lot of time because the bottom line is that fear can push you in the wrong direction. I hope y'all heard what I just said. Fear can push you in the wrong direction by producing nervous energy that causes you to do worse in a new situation, or it can sap your energy when you're trying to fight in paralyzing effects. Okay, so you want to make sure that you are fighting, that you're fighting that spirit of fear. For the Bible says God has not given us the spirit of fear, but He's given us the power, love, and sound mind. Okay, number five, because I'm getting ready to make you shout in a few minutes. I had to get the bad stuff out of the way so we can shout. Number five, fear keeps us and others from reaching our potential. All right. What I'm learning today is that when we give in to fear, we're already beaten. We're already defeated. Did y'all hear me? When you give in to fear, you're already defeated. People who are ruled by the fear don't know where to even play it safe at. And that's sad because people who do not reach their potential by staying where it's safe. Worse yet, hear me, they keep others from reaching their potential as well. You want to get to a place where you begin to say, with me being a leader, when I rule out fear, I become the lid off of people that try to follow me. Hear me. Many people fail because they are failing to reach their potential because their leaders are fearful. Did y'all hear me? I'm believing that our doubts, please write this down if you don't get nothing else that I said. This morning I got this in meditation. Our doubts are traitors. Our doubts are traitors, and they make us lose when we ought to be winning. And the reason why we are failing is simply because we are failing because we don't want to make a try. That was certainly true. And I'm telling you, you want to be able to do that. Now let's shout. How do we handle fear? How do we handle fear? Hope you're ready for it. Number one, you need to admit your fears. I know some of you right now, you big, bad, bold, you know everything. You ain't, you got it all together. But some of you right now that's listening to me, you can never overcome your fears unless you first recognize that they exist. You need to make a list of what makes you feel that way. And if you are unable to do that, you may be running from those actual feelings. Okay. Start paying attention to your feelings. Are y'all listening to me? You got to start paying attention to your feelings. And when does your heart race? When it has no apparent reason to be racing. Okay. What paralyzes you to move from action to inaction?